Welcome back to The Changed Physician. I'm Melissa Cady, the Challenge Doctor, with my co-host, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro, on our Saturday Salutations on nothing less than April Fool's Day. So we are here, truly here, actually live, unless you're seeing the recording. So
that just makes me like April Fools, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So how are you doing there, Kevin?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Well, just for those of you listening, if you've never seen the Saturday Salutations from the co-hosts of The Changed Physician, it's all about just kind of getting you up to date with us individually or events that maybe we just feel like talking about, or what has been going on in the podcast itself, such as recent episodes. And I'll plan on just hitting up those recent episodes, and that would be from the last week of March. Kevin and I talked about 4 things to do to make friends as a physician. Yes. But I would say it applies to anyone. As an adult, we don't have the structure and the settings that we used to have as children. So we go into depth about that. And actually, we based it off some articles, too, that we were looking at. Any comments about that, Kevin?
No, other than the funny thing is, it's always specificity is great for marketing, like 4 ways to make friends as a physician. But realistically, for anything that's important, there's these core principles and you can apply them almost anywhere. And I think we even talked about that in the episode. But
yeah, just take off the it's like, understanding. Well, I'm not going to go into all that, but it's like okay, it might have a little bit some nuances added in, but there are some core principles that relate to whatever topic, such as making friends. So yeah, that's episode 242. And then this past Thursday, as we like to always do, is just to throw things back in the loop or the cycle. So people that missed maybe our first year or 2 of doing this podcast, you can see in Thursday throwbacks. Dr. Stephanie Pearson specifically talks about disability insurance. This is a must listen to episode. I would really go back and listen to episode 65, which was the Thursday throwback from the week before, to understand her story and how it's so personal for her, and that she's really creating an immense value for other physicians out there so that they don't have to learn the hard way and you can be set up for success. And I personally sent some other colleagues that needed disability insurance and didn't have adequate stuff or weren't sure what they really had. And she was incredibly helpful to those individuals, and it made a lot better sense. And they went ahead and set up their insurance through her. So any comments there, Kevin?
No, other than, disability is something that nobody wants to talk about, but what it is like you're 6 times more likely to be disabled than die in our wonderful healthcare system. It'll quickly bankrupt you. I mean, it's so, definitely something to think about, and particularly the younger you are. And I think we talked about that even with, what does your partner do? And if you're the sole breadwinner, that it's even more important. So very important episode.
Yeah. Partners or depends. I mean, the things we don't talk about, or no one wants to deal with.
Nobody wants to deal with. It always makes me laugh. Like there's things that people don't want to deal. Like they don't want to talk about disability insurance. People don't want to talk about life insurance. People don't want to talk about living wills. People don't want to talk about end of life care. They're all extraordinarily important. And luckily, I have a weird family. We talk about death all the time. Like it's just something that we've done. But for families that don't, and just like recognize it, we are all mortal. I mean, people act like they're never going to die. And even people who are like 85 do these clinging things where they're just clinging, and clinging to not die is not the same thing as living.
Yeah.
And, it just doesn't make I don't know. People are so scared of the mortality, and it's like, you're going to die. Like, how do you want to die? And how do you want those around you to kind of process that information and respect what your wishes are? Yeah. Like the thing that pisses me off about those conversations is that, and particularly in medicine, is the number of people say, well, I wouldn't want this done to me. And yet they do it to their spouse.
Yeah.
Or they do it to their parent or I don't know, just to talk about it and make sure you have disability insurance, make sure you have life insurance when you need it, particularly when you're younger, and talk about those really important conversations that are going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
whether you want them to or not. Like
Yeah.
literally, we're all going to die unless something crazy happens in the next 50 years with longevity and all that stuff. And we're still going to have people die because there's still going to be trauma. There's, still going to be weird things that occur. So talk about it, talk about it.
I think wills, trusts, life insurance, all of these things. Funny thing is, a lot of times when you just make a point and address it and you set it up, you can forget about it for a long time or a while, or you can just go to it every once in a while. It's not like you have to talk about it every day.
And most people aren't super complex, right? So like, in some people, oh, maybe you got to check your will, or and maybe you do if you have younger kids and you haven't checked it for a long time. I mean, the biggest one I've seen with that is if if you and your spouse both die, what's going to happen with your kids. And that is extraordinarily important when you're little, and then relationships change over time. So you want to keep reviewing that. Right. But at some point, like, we have very basic, we're not like some crazy, we don't have some crazy trust things all over the place. It's ours is stuff is simple, and I just don't have to worry about it. I know it's there, and I know, if this happens, it goes there. And if that happens, then it goes there.
Yeah.
Poof. And my kids are old enough now, I don't have to worry about it really, because they're they'll be sad, I'm sure. At least I hope they'd be sad. But anyway. So it's not just get it done, get something done.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's true. Like, even if you have some more complex trust, it's just, if a new asset comes into your, ownership, or, you just update things as big things happen. And that's pretty standard. I wanted to mention, just like, even, I think sometimes talking about these things are really, I guess some people are a little more emotional about things. I don't know, what do you want to say? I mean, I consider myself, I have emotions, but I can also be very, like, it seems stoic to a lot of people. I'm pretty much even keel. I wouldn't consider this is a debate I have with my husband all the time. I'm not emotional. I'm not overly expressive emotionally at times. It just depends what it is. While he's a lot more expressive and a lot of things. Like, for me, I can look like I'm just like almost like a flat line at times, but just taking it in. I don't let things affect me terribly much. But I think when you feel, you're laughing at me, not quite like that. I mean, I get very excited about stuff at times. It just depends. But I guess when it comes to work, I'm very much focused on work. I'm very serious when it comes to getting my work done and doing it well. So that kind of takes me out of that emotional fluctuation.
And that's probably a very strong suit, because that is probably not the place to be hugely emotionally labile, right? The
especially
people that are
anesthesia.
I know, like people freaking out, and
that doesn't help you.
Yeah, you don't need to do that in the work environment. There's a reason we have professional things.
Yeah. I'll remain professional, but yes. But I think when you talk about these things about being just basically reminders of mortality, and I think it really makes you try to look at the choices you make in life. We had this off-camera discussion.
Yeah.
Makes you really put things in perspective. Like, what are you waiting on? Like, what do you want to go do with your life? What do you want to go explore? What adventure do you want to take? Like, I think it helps you with that. You're going to say something?
No, I mean, because the death perspective is an old Stoic exercise. I think it's called the memento mori, where you are remembering that you are going to die. And way back when I ran a program, and one of the last sessions on it was write your own eulogy.
Yeah.
And people cried. Like, they were like, because they wrote this thing out and they realized that there was things that they didn't have, that they were missing or wanted. And I'm like, well, that's powerful, because no matter how old you are, if you at least recognize what those things are, you can address them because you're still here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, people push when really it's like, okay, well, let's bookend it. Deadlines is, Parkinson's law, which says that the task at hand will expand to the amount of time that you allot it. And so that's why deadlines are so important. So if you live like your life if you're going to die next week, amazingly enough, you may do a lot more things, I wouldn't recommend that all the time, because there's a balance of, making sure that you're preparing for your future or not. But it's not a bad thing to kind of imagine, well, what if I died next year? Or what if this happened? And, what do I want to do? Or, yeah.
Yeah, and it's okay that it can maybe feel a little uncomfortable because,
Well, if it didn't feel uncomfortable, it'd be kind of weird.
yeah,
I think that would
it's
be
like,
sort of bizarre. Oh, I'll be dead tomorrow. Okay.
no problem. No problem.
Okay. I guess maybe you're super zen, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it usually stirs something up a little bit. And it reminded me just of like, I don't know, just sometimes people just always want to assume the best or they're not really facing reality of things. I got reminded of that a couple of days ago when I talked to a patient who discussed a medical condition that really, really, really should be on like a medical bracelet or something document in the wallet somewhere. Because they're like one out of like a million or hundreds of thousands of people that have this thing and they don't have anything to document it. So if they're in a car accident, which no one's like, if you're not thinking realistically, then you're just going to assume you're never going to be in a car accident and that you're going to never be rendered unconscious and can never speak for yourself like that, or you always be able to speak for yourself like that. That's just insane. So I told this person, I'm like, you need to have, if you're not willing to wear a bracelet or something, you got to have it in your wallet or somewhere where they're going to look at your stuff, so that you don't have a problem, when you undergo any kind of anesthetic or surgery or anything treatment wise. So anyway, just made me think that people are just like ignoring realities of what can happen to us at any time.
Well, we live in our own delusions, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't want us to be threatened. It's like it's
Yeah.
good to be a little realistic and
Yeah.
to just recognize what can be harsh realities are realities for a reason.
Yeah.
And if you ignore them, it doesn't make them go away. It just means that you're ignoring them. And when something arises, you're going to be completely unprepared, or those around you are going to be completely unprepared
Right.
for it.
And in some cases, one, it actually could expedite your death. Number two, it can make your life worse. Or three, it can make the people you love, their lives worse. So,
yeah,
I say stop being selfish and be realistic and just take care of those things so that you're not a burden to others, unless you just want to be a burden to others and, do what you want. But
yeah, that goes along with the drama in the workplace.
The what?
The drama in the workplace.
Oh, God.
Oh, everything's crazy in my personal life, so I'm going to bring it into my professional life. I mean, luckily I don't have to deal with that, but yeah.
Why can't we just focus on the patient? Take
boundaries, boundaries.
Not everyone's good at that. Well, anything exciting or fun you'd like to share?
Yes, of course. I've been preparing for this one, in the way back when we used to do Friday faves and we talked about our favorite stuff. Well, I think we either talked about this last week or maybe we talked about it off air, but this is my new my Gib board. So
awesome. It's ghosting
because of my background, but what this is I fell for the advertising very quickly in it was a Facebook
I'm glad
ad.
you admit to that.
It's weird. So a year ago, and you guys would probably, there's two things I talk about a lot. I talk about the kettlebells, and for a long time I was talking about my Rev balance board, which I still absolutely love. But this one is basically a hardwood platform with a slack line on it. And this company was freaking brilliant because they sold slack lines, and slack lines are these like the flat cable ribbon things, and you'll see them in parks sometime. People put them between trees, and they walk on it like a tightrope, except it's a slack line, so it's not super. It's tight, but not that tight. And I don't know how it was freaking brilliant because they just put this on a board, and the board then can sit on your floor. And let me tell you, I first saw these kids, and that was the ad that caught me. And I was like, I want to do that. They're, the kids jumping on this thing and bouncing all over and, rocking back and forth and balancing on a hand. And I'm like, oh, that looks super cool. I just want to make sure that I can hold an adult and it can. And I've done a lot of balance training. So I was pretty arrogant approaching this thing. It is freaking hard. It is completely different.
Wow.
Than the balance board.
Cool.
Because you're standing on a slack line, and
I love it.
It's a big challenge, and they're like, ooh, stand this, do this, and then you can start doing tricks. I'm like, I just want to be able to stand on this thing because I can't. I could probably. I'm just kind of guessing, maybe 10 seconds right now. Well, probably longer that way if I'm doing on one leg, but trying to actually stand walking on it, and you can't. You can basically do a step and then turn. Holy moly, totally different muscle groups and pretty cool. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. I love it. I'm just getting excited to maybe start doing some walking and jogging with my new little puppy. So he's
Walking and jogging.
well, he's got little legs. I mean, they're
Yeah.
long for his little body, but I'm very excited to be able to not be stuck here, puppy, sitting and actually getting him out and doing some more active stuff. So he hit 8
Puppies are
pounds.
weird, because I'm not a dog person at all, but having friends that do like the puppy thing.
Yeah.
And what it really reminded me of is like a newborn, except you condense the first year of being a parent into like 3 weeks. And I don't know if you had to do this or how old you were, but like my buddy who had puppies, and it was like he was waking up in the middle of the night to like take them till they could pee and do it, and he wasn't sleeping, and he didn't sleep really well for like 2 or 3 weeks because of all the care that was involved. And I was like, that sounds a lot like having a baby, except it's a lot shorter. So
yeah, and you can't put a diaper on them and have it be clean. You can. It's just not as easy as the bald skin of a baby's rear end.
Yeah, how would you do a diaper on a puppy? Do they have like little cutouts for the tail? Or...
Well, I do know there's some that that lose their functions, that they still give them a life, and have little wheels to run around.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah. So they have to have something to catch their stuff. But
yeah,
no, we got them around 2 months, I think, and luckily my husband and my sleep schedule is kind of overlap, and so he's up later, so it makes it nice to be able to like deal with that puppy part. So he's been a godsend dealing with our little Rico, but so he's getting a little bit better, and we're now going to start training him to go outside. So that is my update from the puppy world.
From the puppy world.
Yeah, it is part child. We knew that going in, but you're getting this point with the same thing. You keep thinking, you keep putting it off. I've been putting off having a dog since I met my husband over, wow, today is actually I think it's 2009. And so that would mean 14 years. So today is officially, since we started dating to now, obviously we're married, today's our 14 years. So
the first date was an April Fool's joke.
No, it wasn't. It was one of those progressions of friendship to more. And we estimated around April 1st was like when he asked me to be his girlfriend. So
will you go steady with me?
No, I don't think he said it like that. He said, would you be my girlfriend?
Would you be my girl?
So 14 years, all those years I didn't have a dog. He had his cat, and then he lost his cat. And then a year later, we got a new cat. And then we have now an 11-year-old cat. And all this time, I've foregone having a dog, which didn't make sense the first few years because I was still finishing my training. But so I wouldn't say he caved. He wanted me to be happy. And he knew that we both are like fine with the dog that I was looking at. So there you go. The rest is
has he kind of morphed into the doggy dad?
He definitely makes it clear that he's more of a cat person, but he does love him, and he says he does love him. So, and he thinks I'm more of a dog person, but it's because I never grew up with cats, and he spent more time with cats before I met him than I did. So, But he raised that one from this big, feeding it with a dropper when the vet said they were going to euthanize it, and he's like, "Bring that back to me. I've got him." So, so he saved a cat, and so that one lasted 18 years. So he did a great job. Yeah. But they are lower maintenance.
They're way lower maintenance.
As he said, when it comes to the world of going to the bathroom, cats are geniuses, dogs not so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah. I would love to have a cat, but too many allergies in the house. So.
Oh, well, yeah, that can affect people sometimes too.
Yeah.
Well, I won't belabor that topic, but anything else you'd like to add before you take us out?
No, other than happy Fool's Day. Happy April Fool's Day. I wish I had a joke or a good April Fool's thing to even do, but I don't have anything.
Hope you fools have a good day. How about that?
There's a friend of mine on Facebook. She posted something that was like picture of Mr. T. It said, happy April, fools. I was like, that's awesome. That is
I was
so
just
awesome.
thinking about him when I said that. Yeah.
Happy April, fools. So I guess we can end with that. Happy April, fools.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. You're not
That's
going to
it.
say
What else is there?
go to thechangeposition.com if you'd
Oh,
like to
I'm
join
supposed
our
to say that.
community.
Yeah. Happy April Fools. You want to join the full community, go to thechangeposition.com.
Nice. I like it. You all take care.
Stay well, folks.